So I came across some news while I was scrolling through the interwebs that kind of caught my eye. I just wanted to talk about this because this is just mind blowing to me. And apparently, Marvel is relaunching Ultimate Spider Man in 2024. Now, I am a massive, massive fan of Ultimate Spider Man. I think Ultimate Spider Man was the best iteration of Spider Man we have ever gotten in the comic book. I'm old school. I love the old Stan Lee and Steve Ditko comics. John Romita Sr. came in. God bless the man's soul. I love the old school Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man. It goes all over the place. But Ultimate Spider-Man has always been to me, I think, the best written by Mark Bagley. Mark Bagley drew it, and Brian Michael Bendis written Ultimate Spider-Man, and eventually Bagley left, but Bendis stayed on. And I always loved the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book leading up to the death of Spider-Man, bringing in Miles Morales. Miles Morales, again, it just continued on the legacy of great storytelling from Ultimate Spider-Man. And then, a few years back, I can't remember how many years it's been now. I think it's been like, 7, 8 years, maybe around that time frame. Marvel announced that they were going to do this Secret Wars storyline where they're going to fold in all their planets. And to me, and that was to basically get rid of the Ultimate Universe and bring all the best elements of all the comic books into one continuity. And it was very, very messy at the begin with, because I remember going to Comic-Con. I remember talking to the creators of Spider-Gwen, and I said, hey, you guys are continuing the Spider-Gwen comic, but they're doing this Battle Earth Secret War storyline where they're folding all the universes in. I'm like, but Spider-Gwen is gonna still, maintain her own universe, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so what's the point of doing Secret Wars and fold all the universes in if Spider-Gwen's still and their answer was, we don't know, man. We're just doing our thing. So they acknowledged how messy Secret Wars was from the beginning. And I think it's hilarious now, many, 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 many years later, because honestly, I stopped reading comic books after Secret Wars. I stopped reading comic books after Secret Wars. To me, I felt like Marvel and DC comics were getting stale. It was just recycled material after recycled material. I loved the Image comics. I loved what was going on with Invincible, Walking Dead, Saga. But what was going on over at Image was Invincible ended, Walking Dead ended, Saga was on this huge hiatus. Saga just now came back like last year. So there wasn't really a whole lot in the comic book space for me to latch onto. So I started reading comic books. I haven't read comic books in about 3-4 years now, but this has me excited. This has my spider sense tingling, if you would, because I am a massive fan of Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, this does give me cause to pause, because I see this big name right here and it says Hickman. I am not a fan of Jonathan Hickman at all. I think Jonathan Hickman, his work is very wordy. I think it's very convoluted, and I think I just don't like his writing. I honestly think, like, Jonathan Hickman, like, I tried reading his Fantastic Four runs. He did a lot of the crossovers, these big Marvel events, and I couldn't enjoy any of them. I did not like anything Jonathan Hickman ever produced. So that does give me cause to pause. If now Bendis was coming back, I'll be like, yes, man, sign me up day one. But right now, Marvel has this giant event going on called Ultimate Invasion, which I guess is going to reestablish the Ultimate Universe again. And this is one of the reasons why I got out of comic books in the first place, was because you do this event, you bring everything in, and then you promise the people, yes, all these characters are now in to this one universe. You don't have to follow all these multi-universes. And then a few years later, boom, we got the universes again. It's the same thing with all the Spider-Man comics, right? You start reading Spider-Man, and then boom, here's a new number one. Like man, we were at like how many times? I remember one year we had like 2 or 3 new number one Amazing Spider-Mans in the same year. And DC does it too. DC does the Rebirth and DC New 52 and all that stuff, and they put out a new number one, because the problem is when that number starts racking up and you have like Spider-Man 545, new readers don't want to dump into that because they think they have to read all 500 something issues to jump in. So it's easier for these comic book companies like Marvel and DC. They just constantly put out a new number one because they think it's new readers will be able to come in and pick it up easily. And I hate that model. I really do. I wish comic books would take more of the manga approach and, just start issuing your comic books in that way. But Ultimate Spider-Man, As a big fan of Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm curious to see what Hickman is going to do with this. Is this Peter Parker? Is this a new Spider-Man in general? Is Miles Morales going to be back into the Ultimate Universe? Is he going to be in the main universe? Like, I'm really curious of what they're going to do with this. But yeah, this had a lot of cause to pause on this one. Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Invasion limited series spawns an entire new Ultimate Universe, complete with a new Ultimate Spider-Man by Hickman. And so that all this news came out, I believe. More news will come out at New York Comic Con next month. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what this is going to entail because I love Ultimate Spider-Man. I think it's the one comic book that everybody should read if you're a Spider-Man fan. And I'm super excited, but it just goes to show me how there is no original ideas in comic books. It's sort of like comic books remind me of wrestling, right? You just keep recycling the same stories over and over and over again. There is no like overarching story where they have a beginning, they have an end. That's one reason why I love Image Comics so much. When Robert Kirkman ran out of ideas for Walking Dead and Invincible, he's like, look, we're just going to end it. I'm not going to keep milking this thing and just ruin the character. And we see what happened with Superman, Batman, Spider-Man over the years. You have some really good stories, you have some really bad stories, but nothing really changes. It's been like 70 years and these characters are still pretty much status quo except for minor things. But anyway, that's sort of like my rant on comic book industry in general, but I'm a massive Ultimate Spider-Man fan. I will be checking this out. I won't be buying the physical comics, but I will pick it up digitally and check it out. And I'm really, really curious to see what's going to happen in January 2024 when Jonathan Hickman gives us his take on Ultimate Spider-Man. But I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about this news? Leave those comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button. Until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.